So when I thought about this, my first thought was, well, who the heck are these people that are doing this contracts? Like, who are the people at Progent that are doing this? What kind of folks are these? You know, what do I have to be somebody special to do this? And I come to find that young and old alike are doing contracting, are part of this on-demand workforce. Now, by the way, I know you see that stat up there that says the older group, there's only 7% versus the younger and late night, but younger and older enable us to have 51% of those demographic, those personas as people that are doing this on-demand workforce. And by the way, I found out that 3 years ago, they did the same statistic. And in the older group up there, it was only 2%. It's only been in the last year that the older category has increased by 5%. Now, and by the way, I wouldn't believe that specifically, except for the fact that this. So I've done about 125 implementations between 2 software vendor help desk companies, and I ran into this one company in Newton, Massachusetts. By the way, anybody know what's special about Newton, Massachusetts? Okay, good. I'm glad to share this with you today. It's the home of Fig Newtons. So I was working right down the street from the home of Fig Newtons, doing an implementation. I get on site, and they tell me, hey, by the way, so we've got our payroll clerk. As part of our implementation, I have to also do the payroll process. This was an HR implementation. And so the payroll clerk usually only comes in, Tony, twice a week. But for you this week, Tony, we're gonna have the payroll clerk in there for all 5 days because we suspect that she's gonna need some extra training. And I'm like, okay, great. Listen, I just write it down. We're gonna do whatever they need to do. And so then on Monday I get there and I meet the payroll lady, and she's wonderful. She's been doing this job for 30 years. She's 82 years old. This lovely woman told me and trained me on a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with her implementation. However, my job was to help her learn technology, and she had, as a payroll clerk, she had this sheet of paper, and it had, you know, check boxes and then tasks that she had to do every, 2 weeks, right? A fortnight, as they call it in England. And my job was to take these 10 items that she did in a fortnight and convert it onto the screen. Now, I was a little worried because, listen, she had this better than I knew the software. So, yes, I'm a consultant, so of course I was able to put it on the screen with a nice checkbox just like she had. And by the end of the week, instead of using that piece of paper, she was able to go through the process and put a check mark in what she got done. And I even had her attach something, because sometimes she would staple something onto her sheet. And so now she could attach a file to one of these items. And by the end of the week, this 82-year-old lady was able to do payroll right online. She was able to adopt. I've often joked that, listen, by the time I get to the place where I can collect, you know, my retirement stuff, listen, I'm gonna be working at Walmart, smiling at people, waving, right? We're gonna be working for a long time. And that's what we have here. What we have here is people already ready to work a long time, except they don't have to leave their house. She was one of the most great customers I ever had, and I